Hello, hello, hello. What is going on, my manifesting queens? So, guess what? I have a special treat for you today. In my group, Angelic Wealth Frequencies, I've hosted the past 2 days a special event called the Fuck Yes Frequencies. And this was all about quieting that inner bitch inside you so that you can awaken the freaking manifestation or an abundance queen inside of you. So many of us just completely shit on our own desires and negate them, waffle. We start to what's the word? Bargain with them. For instance, hey, I know I really want to be a millionaire one day, but what if I just go get my 6-figure job here instead? Oh, I know I really wanted Thai food, but sure, I'll get a pizza. We do it on a small scale and we do it on a huge scale. Anything you're going to do on a small scale, at some huge scale, you're doing it too. So this 2-day event was all about getting you back into that energy of the fuck yes, that's so powerful, and really aligning you with things that light you the fuck up and that make you feel like you are completely fully alive, and you getting in touch with your desires so that you can literally have and be and do whatever you want. So I am treating you to day 1 of this Fuck Yes Frequencies event. And that's what this podcast episode is going to be. If you enjoy this episode, you can catch the second video in my Facebook group, Angelic Wealth Frequencies. The link is in the show notes. And day 2 was even more powerful than day 1. So I know you're going to absolutely fucking love it. So go ahead and check this out. I'm also hosting for those of you who are big on your New Year's resolutions and New Year's being 2022's got to be better than 2021. Then I invite you to my New Year's Vision Planning Manifestival I'm hosting in January. It is going to be an event where you completely slay your New Year's goals for, setting your goals for the new year, getting super real around what it is that you want. So many of us just don't allow us to go after what we want. So slay that vision for the new year in this vision planning party. Map out your most successful, wealthy, and prosperous plan for 2022. And you can find the link in the show notes for this too. I am so excited to be hosting this. I invite you, if you're feeling the pull, join sooner than later, because the price is only going to go up and up and up from here. So if you're feeling the call to that, then go ahead and hit that link in the show notes. Otherwise, I love hearing your feedback, I love hearing when you love these episodes. And if you do, screenshot it, tag me on social media at XO Cassie MacKenzie, or send me an email, or whatever you want to do to let me know what you think about this episode so that more people like you can find it. Also, if you feel like going on iTunes and leaving a 5-star rating and a review, I would love you forever, because then, like I said, we'll pop up higher in the rankings and other people can hear about it too. So I love you guys. Enjoy this episode and happy manifesting. Are you ready for this? Let's do it. Welcome to the Manifestation Queen podcast, your filter-free and uncensored source for all things manifestation. I'm Cassie MacKenzie, and I'm a manifestation expert. I'm here to raise your vibes and your cash flow. Listen, I've manifested everything from a beer, a 6-figure salary, my husband, and homes, and more. And I am spilling everything I can on this podcast so you can learn how you can do the same. The more fun I have, the more manifestations appear, and the more money I make. So it's my obsession to show you how you can be, do, and have anything you want. So join the movement to raise your income and your impact on this world. Become a manifestation queen and create a life that feels like a vacation. Let's do the damn thing. The purpose of this super fun event is to help you get in touch with that part of you that wants to say fuck yeah to everything, okay? So here's the vibe. The vibe is you deserve to be having a whole hell of a lot more fun inside your life, inside your business, inside every single part of whatever you decide to do, and for some reason you're not. So the fuck yes frequency is what I'm going to help you in the next 2 days. We are going to really uncover this like key to the secret door that, you know, is basically the door to aligning and like receiving all of the desires that you want. Hey Gina, hi Lisa. I'm so excited you guys are here. Gang's all here. It's becoming a party. I'm so excited. So for those of you who don't know me or my whole story, I've been a coach for about a year and a half, 2 years, officially online, and really focus a lot on money and abundance and creating this lifestyle where you feel like it's a vacation and where you feel like everything's falling into place for you. There's not a lot of hustle, there's not a lot of pushing, there's not a lot of forcing, there's not a lot of beating yourself up. We just heal what needs to be healed and we move on to higher and higher and higher levels. And hey Jamie, what's going on? I'm so excited you're here too. So I wore this on purpose, guys. I wore this on purpose. The nope, all right? I uncovered this in divine timing just this past week in a box. I live in Florida, and in Florida, it goes below 70 degrees, and everybody puts their Uggs on and grabs some hot tea and a gingerbread latte and maybe like 3 sweatshirts, and then we pretend like we're in the middle of a snowstorm in Buffalo, New York. You gotta love us for it, right? So I found this and I was like, this is so perfect. It is the vibe. Because here's the thing. Today we're gonna talk about what the fuck yes frequencies are. Because if you're here, chances are you want to, you know, either like you realize like you're not tapping into it at all. You're not like feeling comfortable saying yes to yourself. You're not feeling comfortable saying no to the things you don't want to do. You might feel obligated to do a lot of things. You might be feeling like life is stacking things on top of you and you're getting completely overwhelmed. And so what the fuck yes frequencies are really about is this is the point where everything starts to feel good. This is the part where, you know, like I said, you have the key where the secret door to aligning to desire after desire after desire after desire, and you hold the key and it feels exciting. It's like going on a treasure hunt and it's like going on this like really fun adventure, but you don't, where you like, it's almost like Bill and Ted's Wild, like Excellent Adventure, where you don't like feel like it's work, you feel like it's fun and you feel like it's exciting, and you do that because of the fact that you're able to really say yes to yourself. You're not like compromising on your desires in the least or in any sort of like way, shape, or form. So that's what we're tapping into today. So let me know on a scale of like 1 or 10, 1 or 2, on a scale of like 1 being the least and 2 being the most. I'm just kidding. Let's do 1 to 5. 1 to 5. How comfortable do you truly, honestly feel in saying, yeah, yes, like absolutely yes. I want to like, you see something you want and you're like, yes, I get it. See, you know, not only material things. Like, I mean, you know, love, success, or what, like where you have like this unwavering faith that you can have it, that you're worthy of it and all that jazz. Okay. Drop it in the comments. Drop it in the comments. And by the way, hold on. I'm like itching. Oh wait, that's what that is. 4 out of 5. Lisa, good for you. Yeah. Look at me. Okay. I'm waiting for more answers. As I do, I have my nice Atlanta. I've got a really, really great program scheduled for you today. Look at this, my Atlanta. This is one of my newest, now that I've taken a few courses with you. Oh my God, I love that. That's so perfect. I'm glad to hear that. That makes me so happy. Oh, yay. Coming from your quantum class, I'd say 5. Yes! Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, we just wrapped up day 10 of the 10 Quantum Habits program. This was like off the freaking charts. I had so much fun doing this course. It was like 10 days where every day there was a different a different thing to focus on, a different habit to either like break yourself out of or deepen even more into, in order to bring yourself into greater and greater alignment. And what just came out of it was like pure freaking magic, and I'm so excited by it. Angie was in that. So good. So keep an eye out for my Black Friday deals, because it might be, you like my wink? Okay. It might be an option. So also, I want to say that at the end of this program, I'm going to give you I'm going to tell you about a couple of new things that are happening in my world that are coming in the next couple of months and starting, and I'm excited for that. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so now that we're getting some answers. So the fuck yes frequencies are different than saying like, yeah, okay, right? It's nothing that you say, yeah, I'll do it because I should do it, or yeah, I'll do it because I have to do it. You know, that is laden with this energy of obligation. And I battled with this like really, really, like without even noticing, like unconsciously, up until like earlier this year, where I really became aware. One of my mentors like really pointed out that I had this like they kind of tug of war with the feeling of obligation, and the feeling, and obligation is not that like deep, you know, fuck yeah, I want to do it, right? You're kind of like, okay, you know, like I should put all these people first, or I should go do all of these. You're like shielding all over yourself. And so, or I should have better numbers by now, or I should have, you know, greater success, or I should do this to get success, or I should do that, or I should be nice to these people, or I should do this for these people, you know. And like what that does is it builds up all of this really sticky, heavy energy that doesn't allow you to truly align with the pleasure and the fun and the fuck yeah that's like inside of you. And when you do that, you start to compromise on your desires. It's like a slippery slope, because you start to compromise on the things that you actually truly want. You might start to, you know, give up on that vacation and do the vacation that other people want to do because, well, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? Or you might take a job out of just desperation and then be completely miserable in it, right? Or if you're a coach or a healer, you might take on clients at like a lower price point, or clients that are unaligned because you feel obliged to do that in order to, you know, make money or to have money come to you. And so the difference between that and like that real true, like, you know, fuck yes frequency that's inside of you is that is filled with the unknown. Like the unknown is still there, but you feel good about that because something in you knows that something huge is coming. So you don't need to know all the answers. Like you don't need to have everything all pieced out. You don't need to like know the next step, because you have full trust that not only in the process, but you have full trust that the next step is going to reveal itself. And if you are like, if you're not wasting your energy focusing on what's not there, and if you're not wasting your energy doing bullshit that you don't really want to do, then you are like, your mind and your field is cleaner for, you know, like it's just cleaned out. So you're able to recognize these opportunities better when they arise. You don't need like 50 card readings and a, you know, like a announcement from, you know, the president of the United States for you to know what your next step is going to be, right? So here's the thing. Why don't more people do that though, right? Like, and I know, like, I asked this in the group a couple of days. Let me pull this up. So I asked, what's the biggest thing that gets in the way of you saying yes to your desires? And a lot of the answers were very similar. There was a lot of like fear of failure. There was a lot of, you know, negative thinking. There was a lot of fear. There was a lot of fear of what your partner was going to say. Like, you know, someone said their husband, or rather fear of his reaction, you know, like needing that validation, needing the support of somebody else in order for you to go after your own heartfelt desire. You know, there's a lot of, you know, mixed up in the energy here, right? Like, also not trusting yourself, or worried about things working out, not feeling supported by the universe, like not really truly being supported by not even just the universe, but by God. So here's the way I look at it. And we talked about this in the 10 Quantum Habits program on Friday. You have got to understand that and here's my opinion, take it or leave it, but I have truly come to believe and truly come to internalize that every single desire that has popped into my awareness, and by this I don't mean like material desires, like, oh, I want to have that kind of purse or these kind of shoes. Like, to me, that's a whole nother fucking topic, okay? But desire just meaning like those heartfelt desires. Like, I was 10 years old when I said, I'm going to be a millionaire one day. I just didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know what path I was going to take. There were several paths in college and after where I was like, oh, here's my $1 million idea, but like none of them did I stick with. And this is the one that I'm sticking with. This is the one that my heart is pulling me towards, right? So when you're thinking about your desires, like, there's been a lot of times in my life where I've bargained with them, where my head has gotten in the way of it. So I've bargained with these desires, which means I haven't said fuck yes to all the steps along the way. I've bargained the desires down as if I'm in some sort of fucking flea market of life. And then what's happened? Like, it hasn't come, or if it did, it was not really fulfilling, required more work than it actually needed to. And the whole process of it felt like a freaking tornado and leaving destruction everywhere, right? Like, I felt more exhausted afterwards than I did before not even having the goddamn thing, right? So here's the thing. Your desires are placed on your heart because God thinks that you, and believes and knows that you are the one that can deliver that in your own style, right? And in your own way. And that it's been placed there in a divine order for you to actually see it realized in your life, you to hold it in your life, okay? The thing that gets in the way is you, right? Is you. It's looking at what is, looking at the circumstances, looking at all the things that on paper say it shouldn't happen. But do you think that God makes a freaking piece of paper that says, here's the reasons why she probably couldn't do it, but I'm going to place it there anyway? No, it's squeaky clean freaking energy. It's looking at, what you're capable of, what's possible for you, and expanding. Like, you literally have the same energy that creates stars and universes and everything that you don't even know about out there. There's so much, out there that, and trees and birds and all these things that are like, that manage to feed themselves through the winter time. You've got the same power behind you as they do. But the thing is, we also have free will, right? We've got this thing called free will where you're like, well, I can decide to not believe it if I don't want to, right? So there's this internal battle that goes on. And drop me a 1 if you've had this internal battle and it stopped you from saying yes to something that just continued to pull on your heartstrings, that you just knew that you wanted, you knew that was meant for you, okay? If you always hold back that fuck yes for yourself, one day you will look back at a lot of years that have turned into what might have been. Exactly. Trust yourself. Hey, freaking men. It's like you read my journal this morning on what exactly was like my outline for the program today. Okay. Yeah, this internal battle. So everyone doesn't do it because it just feels easier saying no, right? Like, we come up with this great idea and we come up with this big desire and we're like, get all excited about it and start dreaming, and then when it comes to time to put the rubber to the road, you start to think, well, how the fuck am I gonna make that happen? Gosh, there's all this shit that needs to come together. Like, here's an example. Like, when my husband tells me, and he's probably listening on the other side of this door with like a cup. So my husband will be like, oh, we should start this container coffee shop over here somewhere. And I'm like, that fucking sounds like work. Don't include me in this idea. Like, I know I could do it. I know I could make it happen. I know it'd be badass. It'd be popular, but it sounds like a shit ton of work that I don't really want to do. So I'm not going to do it. Right. So, hey, Amber, welcome to the party. But, your desires, how come we start to bring that same kind of energy into the desires, right? Into our desires, and saying like, oh, well, it sounds like a lot of work. I don't know how I'm going to do that. and the logical mind comes into the party and says like, well, this circumstance is here and this circumstance is here, and then this thing might come here, and then this other thing might come here. So you may as well just not do it at all, because I'm just going to create like this big thunderstorm of bullshit for you, And we listen to that, right? Angie says, oh, you're such a good mentor. You're just a great mentor. Oh, thank you, Angie. I love that. I accept that. So here's the thing. And I'm going to tell you guys today, I'm going to tell you the 3 things that I've noticed that have come up. But I'm going to tell you a story too. Okay. I'm going to tell you a story about an example from my own life. And it doesn't really have anything to do with money, or it has something to do with wealth, but this is going to be good. So the biggest example that popped in my head when I was thinking about this today, funny enough, was more around, a decision I made after, it was like 2011. So in 2011 was after I grew up on the East Coast and always wanted to move to California. So early at 2006, somewhere around there, 2008, I moved to San Diego, ended up moving back to Atlanta with a boyfriend. We ended up breaking up, and this was like in August of 2000. I don't know why I'm blanking on this. 2011. And so that's when I started to find out about, law of attraction and all of these things, right? All that jazz, all the laws of the universe and The Secret. And it was like really sinking in and making sense to me. And so there were all these opportunities that came my way, and I started to realize how I had created like all of the drama around relationships, all of the situations, even like the movie, even the things like I wanted to be a victim still. I wanted to be like, well, I moved here to be with him, la la la, he ruined my life. But like I started to realize how I was being the victim there, and how like I needed to, if I really wanted to find a husband and really wanted to have a family and have fun, then I needed to really get my shit together mentally around what did I want out of life, right? And so really what started as like a hunt for like a husband as a mid-30s divorcee, it sounds like a Hallmark movie for Christmas, but what started as that was really, to me, this adventure to find fun again, okay? Not to say I didn't have fun in Atlanta, but this was following that internal fuck yes for myself. And I can identify with a lot of the fears that you guys have about like not trusting the situation, or being afraid of other people's reactions, or being afraid of not being able to support things, or, because I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened. So from the time that I went through my breakup, for the next year, I started to get more really social, and I met like all these really great friends. Had a huge friends group. We were like, there was always something going on. Like the social life in Atlanta is really, really great, especially if you're a guy, because there's like an 8-to-1 girl to guy ratio there, which, yeah. So, but what, I met all these amazing friends. Like it was hard to but it still felt like something was missing. I still missed San Diego so much. I wanted to live by the water. Like if you guys don't know where Atlanta is, it's a beautiful, fun town, but there's one big lake. There's a couple big lakes that are nearby, and but a lake just to me is not the same, at least like a southern lake. I can't go into it, but it just wasn't, I didn't feel fulfilled there. I felt like something was truly missing there, and that my heart was really calling me to California. But here's the thing. I questioned, and here's the first thing that happened. So the first thing that stops you from following this fuck yes frequency and aligning with this frequency that literally unlocks all the magic that you're seeking, right? You start to question, like, is this desire real, right? You start bargaining with it and asking, well, can't I just substitute it with something that looks good on paper? And in this situation, I was considering a move between Fort Lauderdale or San Diego. And I was saying, well, my mom, who lives in Virginia at the time, My mom doesn't get on airplanes. So for her to come see me in San Diego would take 3 days for them to get there, and that wouldn't be fun for them. So what if I just decided to stay on the East Coast and lived in Fort Lauderdale, because that would make it easier for them? See, but it wasn't that exciting to me. Like it was still like, at the time I was like, ugh, Florida, like that's gross. I live in Florida now. But, you know, there was this huge part of me that was like, well, I could make all these other people happy and kind of like make a compromise by just moving to, you know, staying on the East Coast and really not following my heart, which wants to go to San Diego. So if you are doing this, if you're finding yourself right now bargaining with this desire and asking, is this desire even real? Like, can't I just substitute it for something else that might work out better on paper, like be more convenient? And usually it's more convenient for someone else. It's not more convenient for you. If it is more convenient for you, then you're probably going to be drawn to it. And that's great, because that is a fuck yes, right? Like, you don't want to create like a situation that's hard just for the sake of it being hard, right? Like the struggle is definitely not required. So, but here's the other part. Like I was like, no, it's not going to make me at 4:30. Oh no, 3:30. Yeah. It's not going to make me excited. It's not going to make me happy to do this, you know? And I still kept being felt. I still kept being felt. I still felt like I was being pulled to the San Diego area. Okay. So the next part that people do is you start to notice the people around you that don't want you to do it, right? Like it feels so much easier to just say no, because, you know, to say like fuck no to yourself, because you, like the people around you are saying like, that's kind of crazy, that's kind of stupid, you've got a great life here now. Like I was hearing this left, right, and center from everybody that I knew in Atlanta, and they meant well. They wanted me to stay. They wanted me to hang out there. Like we always had a lot of fun. It looked great on paper to stay there. Like I had a great friend group. It was, you know, convenient to be there, right? But like it just wasn't what I wanted. And so it took me over 1.5 years to finally get the balls to move. And I basically, like it was a good timing to do it when I did it, but I'll tell you more about that in a second. But, you know, you've got to listen to that fuck yes inside of you. Like what's right for you might not be the same desire your husband does. Like you are built in a completely different way. Like you don't look at your outward appearance or look at the fact that your husband has a wiener and be like, well, I don't have one of those. You know what I mean? Like, no, like we don't compare that our bodies to the people who, you know, are different than us and make it mean that our desires are any less valid, right? So why should somebody's opinion be any different, right? So and it's more of a factor around trusting yourself even more, and trusting the process and trusting your desires, and deepening down into that and feeling comfortable with saying, yeah, this is what I'm doing, this is what I want to do, and allowing that inner like bitch to like just be quiet, you know, and be like, fuck off. Like, I hear you. I know you're trying to keep me healthy and safe, but like, this is actually going to create more fun in my life. Like, we were put on earth to have fun. You're supposed to have a fun time. You're supposed to have a party. You're not supposed to have some boring, meaningless lifestyle where you're just like sitting there waiting for the day to be over so that Survivor comes on, which, hey, Survivor comes on today. I mean, it's just a coincidence. Okay. So the other thing that we might do, and let me know, like, have you guys ever realized yourself doing this? Like looking towards other people's opinion for validations as to what you need to do next. You already know what you want to do. You already know what your desire is, but you're just blocking it because you're letting your ego take over. You're letting the fear take over. And so you're not allowing yourself to actually see what the desire is for what it's worth. Oh yes, I used to do this a lot. Yeah. Oh my God, right? And I feel like every time you up level, you start to like veer into like a deepening of this too, you know, because you realize that like, oh my God, I followed my intuition, I followed my inner guidance, and I got what I wanted, and I'm happier now. So what if I expand and make the next thing that I want even bigger? And then that feels dangerous to you because you're like, oh, fuck, I've never been there before. But like even though you had never been there before, like your previous level you'd never been to either. You see what I'm saying? So every step there was some fear, and the fear is always going to keep showing up. But the question is, do you allow it to take over or not? Because it's not there to take over you anymore. It's not a freaking like saber-toothed tiger, right? Okay. So the next thing to notice and look out for that might be misaligning you with this fuck yes frequency is this. You might start to feel like you have to have all the answers, okay? You might start to put like an unnecessary amount of pressure on yourself and pressure on the decision when, you know, like to know everything, when really truly all you're really searching for is the feeling, okay? You don't really need to know what the next step is. You just need to know you just need to be in connection with how you're feeling about the things that you desire to do, and follow the steps and follow the path of like most excitement, the path that leads you to like loving the situation, right? That feels like fun. It feels like love. It feels like the pressure's released, okay? And this is the part where you're deepening the trust too, because this part can feel scary as hell as well. You're like, oh my God, am I being crazy? So for instance, my mom, okay, like going back into like when the people who like, they don't want you to do what you feel like you really needed to be doing. This is a good one. So I remember when I told my mom that I finally wanted to move to San Diego, like when I started to like really get, like it was probably like a year had gone by since I started this idea of like, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna move there. It didn't make sense. I had a perfectly good job, a really great like friends group. I had a great life established. I lived in Atlanta for like 10 years. But here's the thing. I ended up manifesting getting laid off. So that really helped. But before that, I had to start I started doing interviews out there. I started like flying out there for interviews. And I was scared as hell at what my mom was going to say, because I knew she was going to be upset. I knew that I'd feel some pressure there. And at every single step of my life, I felt like a little bit of pressure around like, well, what are other people going to say? And people pleasing and doing. And so I ended up like delaying my, move, and delaying like the entire process by months and months and months and months because of this fear of, well, what if it's the wrong decision? As if I couldn't move back again. What if these people get upset with me? Like, what if it doesn't work out? And the truth is, like, we never know the answers to any of these questions. You just have to know that, like, everything is unfolding. Even the breakup, I was like really pissed at first because I was like, holy shit, I moved all the way here from San Diego again to a city that I just, just moved away from. Like, this is bullshit. But I'm so happy that happened, because I would have always wondered. If like, did I make the right move? Should I go back, or whatever the case may be, right? So here's the thing. You got to follow the fuck yes. You got to follow this excitement and follow the fun. Because I started to really realize that, time was running out for me, and not like in a way where, like, because this is the real talk here. When you're bargaining with your desires, you are not aligning with this frequency that literally is like the door to receive everything that you want, because your energy is like bogged down with this wishy-washy kind of bullshit, right? And so, but I started to actually realize that, like, fuck, like my time is running out. I would see pictures of my friends having so much fun out in San Diego and be like, I'm sick of my own bullshit. Like, I need to piss or get off the pot. Like, stop talking about doing this and like make a plan to have it happen. Like, I have a deadline for when this is going to happen, like job or no, I'm going out there, right? And I realized like time is running out, not from like a lack perspective, but it was more from like an abundance. I saw every single day that went by was like a day that I wasn't actually living the life that I truly wanted to live. And so I I put my feet to the fire and like held myself to that because nobody else was going to do it. Everybody else around you is going to just allow you to keep doing what you're doing because it's convenient for them. You know, like if you want to live an extraordinary life, you've got to do something that's out of the ordinary. And so this was way out of the ordinary. Like imagine a single girl moving out to San Diego with her 2 dogs and a blow up doll in the front seat. Like that is not a normal thing that happens every day, I don't think. But like you've got to look from an abundance point of view. And for me, I just knew I would have so much fun there. I knew I'd be so happy. I knew that like there was basically I'm missing out on a lot of soul aligned experiences. Like I honestly saw that Coachella was about to happen and I was like, fuck, I can't miss out on this again. Like I want to be out there. I want to enjoy the sun. I want to be by the ocean. I want to be by the other blow up doll story. Bernard. I want to be by like, you know, I wanted to meet my soulmate and I knew that he was either there and going to end up being there, which he ended up being. But like, I knew that there was a bigger, more juicier, like expansive life that was more like soul aligned for me there. Like I was missing a fragment of myself by not making this decision and not going there, if that makes sense, right? So it was hard. It got to the point that it was just like, it just felt like, it just felt like there was no brainer. Like I just did not give a shit if anybody disagreed. And it was just like, and that's where you need to get to. You need, in order to get to this fuck yes frequency, in order to get to the place where things are manifesting for you left, right, and center like so easily, it's because you're aligning your life with only things that light you up and things that will bring you joy and bring you fun, and allowing those things that you should do be as few and far between as possible. You know, like as the goal, I guess, is 0. But even I fall into this thing where I'm like, okay, well, I should be doing this or I should be doing that. And I catch myself and I have to like reframe it and be like, okay, what would make this more fun? How can I make this more like aligned? How can I make it feel like less pressure and more fun so that if it like for some reason goes sideways, then I'm still like in a grateful mood about it, right? Think about it. You got the holidays coming up. How can you make it more aligned for yourself, right? Whether you have to get a hotel room or not, like whatever you need to do. So, but why it took 1.5 years for me to do this. It took 1.5 years for this one decision to come to fruition. Okay? Because like you need to understand that you need to get like a support system. Like you need to have the support. You need to have the people to go to where there's a few things that you need. This is one of them. You need to have the people to go to who are going to tell you when you're being like, when you're like waffling on your desires and not being in integrity with them. Like people to be like really real and to call you out on your bullshit and to not just pander and tell you what they think that you want to hear to make you happy. But then also like, you need to really get in touch with what it is that you truly, truly, truly want. What you want, not what somebody else wants for you. Because I had a long list of that. And here's the repercussions for me making this decision and finally pulling the trigger and making it happen. The minute I landed in San Diego, I felt happier instantly. I felt like I was home. I felt like 10 pounds lighter too. It was the weirdest thing ever. I was like, damn, look at me. Like I feel skinnier already. It's that California air. I mean, it was the same exact weight. I just felt better. I felt like, and maybe it was just being so proud of myself, like showing myself the self-love to take that risk, to go to that distance, like literally, quite literally go to that distance, but answering the call, right? Answering the call of what my soul wanted me to do. In addition to this, I had way more fun. I had, not that I wasn't having fun for all my Atlanta friends who might watch this. I was having fun in Atlanta, but this was like so much freaking fun. I felt like a kid again. Like I felt like seriously like a kid again. I wasn't thinking about like, oh, I want to go home and just hang out with my dogs, right? Like I literally felt so fulfilled in every single moment. And I was unemployed, y'all. Like I ended up, the thing that got me moving out there was that I got laid off from my job. And I was so excited, like when, like the day before, when the rumor mill had started about us all getting laid off, I was like, really? You think so? That'll be amazing. I was like the only one that was like so fucking excited. Like people were like, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm moving to San Diego. I got it. Literally, I stepped foot in San Diego. Like I was out of there in 2 weeks, out of Atlanta in 2 weeks. I had all my shit packed up on the road and I was out of there. Like it was like Monopoly. Like do not like don't go past go. Don't collect $200, like whatever the hell that is. I seriously was like, and like you make the decision and you go for it and like your soul cheers for you. But you need the support system, right? Like I wonder back then if I had had a coach or if I had a sisterhood or if I had some kind of program or whatever, you know what I mean? Like if that would have sped it up, because I wouldn't have gotten in my own head so much. I mean, I had friends that were out there, but they had their own lives. And I mean, like they weren't going to stop what they were doing in San Diego to like have a fun, have like an hour-long conversation trying to coach me into, moving out there, right? Like there was a lot of self-doubt I had to move through. There was a lot of fear that I had to move through. And I'm saying this because it is normal. Just because you have all these fears and you might have doubts doesn't mean that you're fuck yes and that those things that you want to say yes to are any less valid. In fact, it almost makes them more valid. It's just you've got to bring those fears along for the ride, right? You've got to like dance with them and bring them into the party in order, and see them, like look at them and be like, oh my God, well, this is just a fear. It's trying to keep me safe. This is just something that is being thrown out into the, thrown out onto the table to stop me from doing what I've never done before. It's true. So what I want you to do tonight is really think about this. Like what makes you feel fully alive? Because this is the first step. All right. I'm not going to have you go like think about what your desires are, but like what makes you feel fully alive? What do you do in your life, or what have you done in the past that maybe you don't do anymore now because you've got kids and a husband and you haven't taken time for yourself to do this? Because that was me. I made the same exact list, like I think it was last week. And it was crazy what came out. And a lot of the stuff I'm already doing, but there was a lot of stuff there that I was like, oh my God, that's right. Like these things totally make me feel alive. But like what makes you feel fully alive? And really sit with this, like meditate on it. Like think about some of the times where you felt like the most like excited and happy and like filled with joy, because we're going to talk about answering that call tomorrow. And that's and I'm going to tell you like what the next steps would be. Okay. And you don't have to get a blow-up doll and take it across the country, believe me. So that is our presentation for today. That's the party. Let me know, like, do you guys, when's the last time you thought about what makes you feel alive? And really dive into that, like get serious about it, because you can't just sit here and say no to yourself all the time but then not do the work to see like what's that feeling that I'm missing? What's that feeling that I'm searching for? Because really all of your desires, whether it's money or love or freedom, or money or the partner or having a better job or having, more soul-aligned clients, like these things, you just want them for the feeling that they're going to bring. They're going to bring that love. They're going to bring that sense of fulfillment. They're going to bring that sense of inner peace, right? Maybe a feeling of success, and at a different, deeper level than you've experienced it already up until now. Like, so here's the thing. I am starting up a brand new group program / mastermind, right? And this is all about going to be, and I'm so excited about this because It's going to be about mastering your energy to like really truly align and with all of that inner fuck yes that's inside of you. Okay. And having the confidence to say it day after day after day, because that, the confidence in saying yes to yourself doesn't come from you like learning more or like reading a book or whatever. It comes from you practicing it and really doing it and having the balls to do it. Like seeing past those stressors of what is when life is hard and doing the damn thing anyway. Or not knowing the next step, but still saying yes to yourself and like stepping out there and still like not needing to know that next step, right? But having the confidence that you're going to be supported and taken care of anyway, so you do it anyway. Being able to build that trust, like the trust is built from you taking a risk on yourself, right? This trust isn't something that's like sold at Walmart. Trust is something that's like, you have to do it. It is something that's like self-driven. Nobody can give you trust. Nobody can tell you they trust you into yourself trusting yourself, right? Like it just doesn't work that way. You have to build that trust. And the only way you do that is by stepping out there and integrating it into your life and practicing it till it becomes normal. Okay. So these are the types of things that we're going to work on. And we are going to, imagine like how fun would it be to get together and like say all the things you're afraid to say in front of a group of people who are fully supporting you every step of the way. Right. And having that cheering squad. Like I've been in containers before, like containers. I've been in coffins before that coaches ran. No, I've been in like I've joined a lot of different programs, and I've joined a lot of different masterminds, and I've joined a lot of different, quick programs and this, that, and the other. Some feel safer than others, right? Some feel like there's like you're heard and you're seen, right? And what I want to build and cultivate is a group of people who are seeing and hearing each other and cheering each other on. Like seeing somebody successful and saying, God, if they can do it, then I can do it too. Or seeing somebody struggling and then helping them through that because maybe they've gone through the same sort of situation. Like what's easy for me, like somebody might find it easy to tell their husband, like, or tell their mother, like, too bad, so sad, I'm doing it anyway. But then that same person might have a hard time, seeing past what is in order to trust the next step. You know what I mean? So all of us have something to add to the mix, like making a big old pile of chili with all of our, our past experiences and perspective all together. So I'm starting the Fuck Yes Your Way Mastermind, and this is all about saying fuck yes and doing life your way and doing your business your way, doing your love life your way, so that not only you're showing up with more self-love, more confidence, more trust, but it starts to spread into all of the other areas of your life so that you experience like real true abundance and fulfillment. Okay. So this is all about celebration sessions. We're going to do like fun games. We're going to have like really calibrate your vision and really calibrate your desires into that next step in that frequency that you need to work yourself up to in order to start receiving it like super easily, right? And make it your new reality. So this is going to be a mix of like coaching and mentoring and also like obviously like daily Voxer access. So message me if you want information on this. We're probably going to start this one in like end of December, early January because of the holidays and stuff, but there will be limited spots. I want to make sure it's a close-knit group that you feel comfortable in and joining, and that it's like a real true sisterhood. But also there's going to be a shorter version of it too for those of you who want like a very compacted like hypermind type situation. So this is going to be 3 weeks. It's the Fuck Yes Express. I love it. And this is all about aligning with what you love, aligning with what you want, with your desire, having that buzzing energy inside of you. And then, really to light a fire under your ass with none of the fluff. So we'll be meeting more frequently. and it'll be a faster, like no fluff type of situation, but you'll still have like the Voxer support every day, and really get out of that pattern of heavy obligation in life, because that's not sexy or fun, right? So the goal here is saying yes so you get more fun, and saying yes so that you live life more effortlessly than ever. So message me if you want any details about these. I am for the Fuck Yes Express program. We're going to be doing that starting in December, at the beginning of December. And this one, for the next 24 hours, I'm pricing it at $555. After that, it's going to go up to $888. And I am so excited about this. It's like blowing out of my... So, and then, yeah, if you sign up over the next 24 hours, you'll get what is it called? I'm sorry. I heard like a bunch of noise behind me and I'm like, what? What's my name again? Abundance, a one-on-one like abundance coding session with me included. So there's an added bonus for acting fast and listening to your intuition. So for those of you guys who are joining me tomorrow, I will see you tomorrow. Message me if you want any information about any of these links. And I can't wait to tell you about how to answer the call tomorrow. Tomorrow, yep, 3:30 p.m. Yay! Okay, so gotta take my kid to the doctor, and I will see you tomorrow. I love you, and I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you. Bye. Thanks a million for choosing to push play on another episode of the Manifestation Queen podcast. You truly amazed me, and if this episode blew your mind, then please leave a 5-star rating and a quick review on iTunes so more people like you can become manifestation queens too. See you next time.